Well, what do we have here, huh? Looks like two major attempts to fail, and yeah. So, you can see here, we put in a sand point well. Tried to put in a sand point well, and it's just sand, right? Okay. So the sand point well did not work so well. We stopped around 22 feet, give or take, and I will show you we're going to use the tractor right there, and we're going to use the bucket with the chain around it, and the chain around the pipe, and we're going to pull the pipe back up. It should come up fairly easily, though it's rained now, so it might be a little more stuck, but it's a tractor, so should pull it up. And that's what you call a mud pump. 7 horsepower Predator, 213 cc's, 212 cc's. First we'll talk about this one. This one, putting in, stopped. I watched a UP homesteader, off-gritter, doing it with the grit that he's got, man. And I actually got the chance to talk to him, and he attempted 12 times to put a well in. And a little bit different area. He's hitting clay and some other stuff, and he had a lot of issues. A lot of issues. Obviously 12 wells in 2 years, and he couldn't hit water. I put mine down, and I'm hitting issues. I think the pipe came loose as well. And when you put these pipes in, you're banging on them. You have to turn the coupling and the pipe every couple bangs. If you do not, they will come loose on you. Not very many people explain that, and it is a pain in the butt. It caused us issues. On the first attempt, we took it up after 13 feet, took it back up and rethreaded, and got new pipe back down inside. I do prefer the coupling drive pipe. Okay, this coupling drive pipe, you can use your post hole pounder, put it on there, get her done. Your post hole digger, if it's not dry rotted, will also do you good justice. So yeah, drive caps. Don't buy these. Do not buy these. Do not. Just don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Just don't. You can't fit your drive post pounder on there. Because this fat edge here is too big. Okay, secondly, you can use a hammer, yes, and the hammer will break this off. I will show you pictures, and it didn't take very much, and it snapped off. I had to take the pipe out and get it rethreaded. That's with this tightening on, pound, 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 tighten it back on, pound, 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 and it only fits on so many threads where it doesn't get enough bite force onto it. Junk. If I ever had to do another one and I knew I was going to hit water within 20-something feet, I wouldn't use that. Okay, so problem number 2 with this thing, this type of well that we're trying to put in here, failed. I seen the issues he had. I called up one of the local well drilling companies. They said, "Oh yeah, you're static water pressure. Yeah, you've got it. About 50 feet down." And I kind of knew that a little bit because the other well that I know of, that's about 50 feet down and 80 feet to the bottom, or the bottom of the pipe where they kept putting it in. Sure, okay, that's doable. It's just not doable this way, because you can only pull up 25 to 30 feet max on a hand pump well. Okay, well, what do we do? Well, go deeper. You gotta go bigger when you go deeper. So in doing so, got a mud pump. Here's the mud pump. This mud pump, I got it on sale through Facebook. Got the 2 hoses. Yes, one's not a collapsible hose, and yes, that will cause you an issue. But inside of this hose here, to make it go in easily, I had to take vegetable oil and poured it inside of this to make these smaller tubes, which are these 1/2-inch tubes here, and I've got plenty of it. I bought a whole roll of 300 feet for 10 bucks. I got 4 rolls, so why not? So I cut a bunch of these, taped them together, shoved them in this pipe here, put a little oil in there for they'd slide down. Okay, that works for it not to collapse all the way. It collapses a little bit around the ends, but still enough to bring up enough water to push out enough water to do what I'm doing. Then I tried using this into a barrel, so as the water comes up, out, goes back into the barrel where I'm pulling from, and then using this for pressure. So what you have here on the end of your sub pump is an adapter, reducers. Okay, so you're going from 2-inch down, 2-inch threaded to 1-inch to down to 1/2-inch threaded right here, putting this on there. And this tube's so flexible and bendy, I don't think it was staying straight inside the line. So I was having issues with that as well. So then I thought, oh, I'll go to this, but I didn't have the right clamps to really clamp it down hard enough. And end of the day, at 80 feet of line, there was not enough pressure. So if I had to go down that far, I would be kind of in a stuck position because I wouldn't be able to really bring up the dirt and stuff with what I have. And this wouldn't do. Not for the pressure, not going from 2-inch to 1/2-inch, 80 feet down. I get a little bit more pressure, not enough. So that's failed. So to keep the line kind of straight, I also used engineering here, MacGyvering it. I used the hose on some sticks. And so some of the sticks started breaking on me because they're a little bit too thin for the weight on the back end, because of the branch, obviously the tree gets thicker. So I used these to keep them straight so when they're going down, but they started snapping and then they would bend at the cross points here. And so that became a mess. So I'm like, okay, well, I won't do the full 80 feet of line, I'll just do 30. I did that. No, it was bringing up some of the water. Yes, the water would come back up and it was flowing out. Maybe I was being a little bit too impatient. Maybe it just wouldn't work in general because it still didn't feel like it had enough pressure to push up the sand and push it out the hole back into the bucket. And then you're trying to turn the pipe back and forth, and then your water's going back and forth, not into the bucket. So I could buy more adapters. And to the second failed attempt, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like I'm missing something or doing something wrong. So I'm scratching it. I can't do nothing other than scratch it at the moment. Okay, we know we're not putting it in by hand. We already know that. So now we're going to pull up that point. We know we're not going to do water jetting is what it's called. So we know we're not doing water jetting. Not at least with this pump. If I had a more powerful pump, perhaps, yeah, I might be all right. But I'm already X amount of dollars into what I have. So we're going to scrap what we have, return a few pieces, get some cash back, and we're going to just put some money aside and rent a machine that a guy has on Facebook that he can go 200 something plus feet with going down. 2 guys could do it in a weekend. Someone possibly might be interested in splitting the cost and doing one on theirs. So cut the cost in half. That'd be beautiful. If not, oh well, here's what it is. Then we'll put that one in and we'll do it that way. I do have a third option and I don't know if he wants to be mentioned or anything so I'm not going to mention his channel or anything yet. But wow, awesome guy to talk with, and tips and hints, and just even some motivational. He doesn't even know it yet. Like motivationally, like just keep plugging at it. You guys got this. You can do it. The reward from doing the channels and doing some different things, it can happen. He's just explaining what he did and what he went through and how well he's doing now. That's awesome. So that gives me hope and a few aspects of a few things. determined to hit water. We will. But we're going to focus on other projects, and we're going to jump into those. Not on this video. Sorry. It's already 10 minutes long. Sorry. So what we're going to do is scrap what we have, clean up the area, get it done as much as we can, and we're going to start prepping in the area for, this is the build site as well. Okay, so even if I had to put the well a little bit over one way or the other, I prefer to actually have it inside the build site. That way I don't have to worry about freezing and other things. So the other well I have, I can go use prayerfully. I can use that one by a pump that I'm going to use in mine. So use it in that well. Doesn't have a pump. Pump the water out, use that water, and then when ours is in, take the same pump. Cost has already been paid for. Put it inside and rock and roll. I make it sound so easy. I'm here to tell you it ain't. Like I said, I do have that other option. The other option is the turn. It bores it out. You turn it in by hand. You just keep turning it left and right, or clockwise. Drill it in. Pull out about a foot of dirt each time, and pull it up. And do that for 60 to 80 feet. And that's a free option. He's suggested I could borrow his and do that. Once we get these out and I start doing some prepping, if I get into a standstill with timing and finances, then maybe I'll just do that just to give it a try. It doesn't hurt, it's free. Labor ain't, but use what you have, right? So we are going to have at that. If I get to doing one of those, I'll put up another video. Failed or success, that's what it is. So once again, let me show you our little area, and yeah. So there's my tractor, the beast that it is. Thankful for the beast. I've got to do some work on it to keep it going good, and then do some more work later on to actually make it running and pristine. I need it running good. Gonna put in a hydraulic, hopefully a hydraulic snow plow in the front to plow out our almost, by the time you hit our house, it's actually probably a mile's worth of from park to paved road. Okay, which doesn't seem far, but Lord Almighty, if you're going 10 miles per hour, if that, on a tractor, it's gonna be a little bit distance. But that's my job. That's my job, plowing the road. It's my job to build us a temporary area to camp in through spring, summer, and fall, and maybe through this winter, and to keep us going as I can keep the wife going to work. Spring comes around, we will not be going slow. I tell you what, we'll be dropping in logs, we'll be putting them in wood kilns and rocking and rolling from there. But this is our area that I plan on building a structure to house the campers and stuff, and that's going to let us and then I'm going to put dirt around there for insulation, and a wood stove on the inside, and I have a blueprint showing, which I'll show that as we get closer to that. But the purpose of all that will be keeping us warm, which I think we're going to be a little too warm with how I'm setting it up, and that's why I'm making doors on both ends for fire escape, and also for air draft, air vents on the top, windows in the sides. Even though it's going to be through dirt, still have windows through the sides, letting I'm rambling, sorry. Letting the sun come in, right? And that will be our setup. A lot of work to do. Got to level some of the stuff off. We have to dig some holes, put some posts in, and all temporary. And then the structure will be used for, we're going to do some, I think, incubations and things like that. It should be also large enough to house a couple ostriches in through the winter. For next year, once we have ostriches, we can put them inside of that, and they can also, we can make a separate area that's for incubating their eggs through the summer and spring and summer. And so that would be so climate controlled, it'll be easier to control the humidity and the heat that goes in there. So off-grid incubating, I mean, think about it. That's gonna be pretty cool. I know we can do it. We've done a lot of incubation with lots of other eggs. We've done pretty well. And we've had ostriches before, so we're getting back into them next year. All right, so stay tuned. This is what we have. This is what we're doing. At the moment, we have failed and failed and failed again. That's just what it is. I can be mad about it all day, or I can just find a solution. So let's find the solution and let's keep going forward. Time's a ticking. And remember, healthy, happy animals lead to healthy, happy people, no matter what they're for. Be blessed, have fun, and see you on the next one.